Good morning, students. Welcome back. Um, we've done the previous two questions for the question, the two sub-questions. Now we are going to look at graphing the inequality. So we are going to graph this 8x plus 6y to be greater than or equal to 2400. And how do we graph it? Now when we did equations, when we graph equations, the first thing we do is to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. That is the same thing we do here. So we will graph this inequality just as we are graphing equality. Equality is the equations. Inequality is, when they are not equal, then they are unequal. So we are going to now graph this 8x plus 6y greater than or equal to 2400. So the first thing we do, we find the x-intercept, and to find the x-intercept, put y to be 0, solve for x, and solve for x. So we now have 8x, of course, plus 6 times 0 to be greater than or equal to 2400. 8x plus 0 greater than or equal to 2400. 8x will be greater than or equal to 2400 minus 0. 8x is greater than or equal to 2400. And then you divide both sides by 8. This is inequality. You are not dividing by negative, so it's still okay. X is greater than or equal to 300. So we have this, we keep it. Then we also do the y-intercept. For the y-intercept, you put x to be 0 and solve for y. Solve for y. So this will be, of course, 0 plus 6y greater than or equal to 2400. 6y is greater than or equal to 2400. And y should be greater than or equal to 2400 over 6. Now take your time and solve this, okay? I'm just skipping some steps here because I explained it very well here to save time. So you now have the x-intercept and the y-intercept. The next thing to do is to graph it. Okay, you now draw your graph just like you would do equations. You just draw your graph, your x and y. You make sure you label your graph. And of course your graph is already numbered. You choose a suitable scale. Your scale could be 2 cm to 100 units on the x-axis and 2 cm to 100 units on the y-axis. You could choose that as your scale. Let's say this is 100, maybe 200, 300, 400, 500. This is 100 units. Okay, you can use the same unit here, 200, 300, 400, and negative 100, negative 200, negative 300. Always use a suitable scale. You can also use 1 cm. I did not measure it. But this is a good scale you can use. If you want to use 50 units, that's okay. 50, 100, 150, you can do that. Alright, so x-intercept is 300. So we have this. X is greater than or equal to 300. So that means it's to the right of 300. Because 350 is greater than 300, 400 is greater than 300. And y is greater than or equal to 400 is to the top, above 400, because you want to have all those greater than 400. Now, quick point. Will you have a solid line or a dotted line? Or a dotted line? Quick point. If, because of this inequality greater than or equal to, I will have a solid line. And I'm using freehand here. You don't use freehand to draw graph. You don't do that. Okay? I use a solid line because of the greater than or equal to. Then, which direction should it be shaded? Okay, which direction should it be shaded? Should it be shaded this direction or this? I go back, I repeated it. I'm repeating it now. 300 greater than or equal to 300 is to the right. Greater than or equal to 400 here for the y is up. So I'll just go ahead and I shade this. And I shade this. And then on top of it, I can now write 8x plus 6y greater than or equal to 2400. You can write it on top. I didn't write it. Well, let me write it here on top. On top of it, 8x plus 6y greater than or equal to 2400. Okay? You probably would want to raise this one up more. So, to be y. I just write it on top. Now, this is for solid line because of the equal sign. But what if there was no equal sign? Then that means you use a dotted line. If there was no equal sign, make it a dotted line. You see what I did now? I'm doing now. You make it a dotted line. If there's no equal sign. Alright? Thank you so much for viewing this video, and you have a good day.